This episode is proudly brought to you by the members of the You Run Podcast Network. All shows can be found at yourunpodcast.com. So go and find your new podcast addiction today. Hey Mark, I bought a Christmas tree today. I got it all wrapped up, took it up to the till, handed it to the guy, paid the money. He went, are you putting that up yourself? I went, no, I'm putting it up in the living room.
I knew where you were going with that, and I still laughed, even though I tried my best not to.
Well,
I hate this. I hate why this is back.
It's so good. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas time, it's the time to be afraid. It's Christmas time, it's time to talk about being named. And on this podcast of horror, we will spread a little fear. Watch a horror movie now and grab a beer. And then Scott mentions the actress's boobs, followed by Mark saying, come on, dude. This is the place to have fun and say a curse or two. You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. Watch a horror, do it now, it's Christmas time. Watch a horror, do it now, it's Christmas time. Watch a horror, then listen to a great fun review. Run Past Christmas. Do it now, it's Christmas time. Do it now, it's Christmas time. Watch a horror, then listen to a great fun review. Run Past Christmas. You Run Podcast Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
I'm going to be really sad when we don't have that theme music anymore.
It's really good, and it really gets
really
me like
good.
a Christmas spirit. Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast. My name is Scott.
My name is Mark.
And he paused drinking his beer because he knew
I did. Commitment.
You're so committed to the show. You went to sip and you went, oh shit, no, I need to speak now. I'll wait. And now you've sipped. We are a horror movie review podcast that comes out every single Monday. We review horror movies you select on our Instagram at You Run Podcast. We kind of just spitball through the movie. We give you a brief synopsis at the beginning. Then we give you some facts. Then we play a game. We do all sorts of weird and wonderful interactive features. And all in all, we're just a fucking good podcast. I think that's where we are.
I mean, yeah, not to overreach too much, but we do all right for ourselves, I think.
It is Christmas. I am blowing my own trumpet. We are a good podcast. And if this is your first time listening, you need to stick around.
We are an average at best podcast.
We're so not. Today we take a dive into a movie that honestly I'm amazed has taken so long to get it on the show. And I'm even more amazed that this was your pick.
Confession time.
Before you confess, let's give a bit of context. So throughout the course of the year, we pit movies against each other. So you pick 4 a week, I pick 4 a week, and we poll them. Uh-huh. And there's 52 weeks in a year, which leaves the option for a tie. So instead of having the option for a tie, we decided that we would add a bonus episode, so we have 53 weeks. And when you picked this, I sat there and scratched my head like, the fuck? He's not seen it. Why has he picked it?
Well, you give me the option, and I know it's been a grim sort of past 2 months for me on the show. I haven't won anything since maybe middle of summer, I think, because I was on a landslide victory.
You were miles in front.
was fucking cleaning up all year long. I was like, this is game over in middle of summer. Then all of a sudden, my picks were just not winning. I don't know what I was thinking. I started not going as mainstream as usual, and I was picking movies that I personally wanted to. I think what it was Action Month killed me off.
Yeah.
And then I started being more selective of my choices, as instead of going for more mainstreamy kind of movies, I was like, this fucking month's pissed me off. I want to get on to doing some movies that I want to look forward to doing and enjoy doing. So I was being a bit more selective. And as I'm sure you all know, my taste in movies is very unique. It's not shit. It's different. You know what I mean? So I was introducing a lot of stuff into the polls that I wouldn't necessarily normally put in there on the off chance that I would win. But then the majority is always against me on that situation.
I spanked you every single week for
I just kept getting canned, and it was got to the point now where obviously we're near the end of the year and we are you've pulled it back fairly well.
We're tied.
Like, shit, we are tied. And I was like, right. And it was like Christmas month, what we having? And I was like, I'll be honest with you, I'd not seen A Nightmare Before Christmas before, but I knew you loved it and I knew it would be one of your picks. And I thought, everybody else seems to love this movie. Let's take it. Let's take it for the point. So I took it purely just so I could get a win this week. That was the whole reason I picked this movie, because to be honest with you, there is a million and one other movies that I would have put on my list before this, but I just knew it would win, and that's why I took it.
So it's a strategic pick.
It was very strategic, yeah. It was 100%, and I'm not embarrassed to admit that. I did it purely for the edge because I needed it.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm not even a little bit mad that you won. Today we take a look at a movie that is all about an over narcissistic person, a girl with daddy issues, a bad guy with a foot fetish, and a dog that is honestly the only pure character in this entire fucking movie. Today we are taking a look at The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Tim Burton classic that everyone adores, including me.
It's the real Santa. Praise Jesus.
Praise Jesus. It is the real Santa. Where do you want to kick off with this? I think the only logical place is to kick off with the opening. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Yes. Halloween. Like, I love this film. I adore the music. And I think a disclaimer's due from me. Like I've said hundreds, if not thousands of times on this show that I hate stop motion animation. It irritates me. It's clunky. It's wonky. It doesn't look quite right. When you mix it with live action, I'm like, what the fuck is this? It looks dreadful. Like things like Jason and the Argonauts, that to me is like pure torture.
Oh, I love Jason and the Argonauts. Those skeletons are amazing.
Of course.
You love Evil Dead though, and that's like Army of Darkness level greatness.
I do, but like this is so well done. Like even if I didn't like all the songs in it and like the storyline and the characters, like even if I didn't like any of that, I could sit there and appreciate just the sheer level of effort and work that went in to make these characters move as fluidly as they did. Like there's a character in this that his face is dripping.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, just wow.
It's incredible. It's really masterful. And I think as much as I am a big fan of stop motion animation, something I've made abundantly clear on this show from day one is this one is a very, very seamlessly done stop motion animation to the point where you get so far into it that you tend to forget and you're almost as in like Pixar mode where you're like, this is just CGI animation, and it's not. And that's testament to the creativity that's done within this film. I think one thing as well that really works in this movie's favor, stop motion animation always has a very eerie aspect to it. And I think given the tone and the setting of this movie really helps amplify a good footing for where this kind of creative craft belongs. You know, it feels very suited. We always say this about Tim Burton's Beetlejuice movie. You know, people often like laugh and shrug at the stuff with the stop motion animation within Beetlejuice, but it gets a pass more times than not purely because it's suited within the tone of the film. And I think that's why it works so well here. I just think stop motion animation itself is quite a haunting thing. And I know that sounds silly to say when you're talking about clay models moving frame by frame, but I always tend to find that personally for me, horror lends itself very well to the craft.
Yeah, it really does. And like this is the most Tim Burton movie of all time. Like there is so many nods to previous work, like when Jack's delivering the presents, he delivers the sand snake or sandworm from Beetlejuice. Yep. He delivers a shrunken head from Beetlejuice.
So is this before or after Beetlejuice?
This is after, way after. Beetlejuice.
I was going to say, because I again, my timeline with Tim Burton's sort of filmography isn't great. I'm not the biggest Tim Burton fan. I can appreciate, I love Beetlejuice, love Edward Scissorhands, love the Batman movies, the first two that he was involved in. But aside from that, like I'm not a Frankenweenie fan. I'm not a Coraline fan. You know, those.
Coraline's not Tim Burton.
He's involved in it though, is he not?
Nope. It was one of the guys who worked on The Nightmare Before Christmas who then went away. I think it were, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments or call in. Henry Selick. So Henry Selick directed.
He's the guy who directed this, yeah.
Yeah. Tim Burton, in reality, like his name was stamped on this because it was his idea. Like this, Jack Skellington is Tim Burton's creation. This is his vision. Tim Burton, for the entire 3 and a bit years this was being made and animated, spent less than 2 weeks on set.
Yeah, everybody is just Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
In 3 years, less than 2 weeks on set, which just boggles my mind. And one of the weeks he was on set, he had a massive argument with Henry Selick over a decision Henry Selick had made, threw all of his toys out of the pram and made Henry Selick change his mind and do what Tim Burton wanted.
Which is wild, to be honest. Let's be serious. Like, he's not really fucking involved, is he? The reason I asked that question, though, is, again, because I'm not familiar with the timelines of this. I saw what the young children, the trio, and one of them is clearly like a child Beetlejuice.
Yeah. One of them looks like a child Beetlejuice, and the other one looks like a child Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is what spawned his ideas for Beetlejuice. He'd be like, oh, I wonder what this character's like when he grew older, but clearly not, because this came after.
The thing is, like, this entire movie could take place, like, you could stick this movie on a TV in the waiting room of the afterlife in Beetlejuice and it would work.
Yeah.
Like, it's so Tim Burton-esque. And I love the aesthetic that Tim Burton brings, and I really enjoy the story of this. Like, I'm going to throw a little bit of shade at The Nightmare Before Christmas tonight, and I apologize to all of the fans out there, especially you, Skelly. Skelly's a long-term listener, Skellington fan, and I love this movie unconditionally. So please take that into account when I say some of the things that I say. Jack is the biggest fucking narcissist on the face of the planet. So, number one, he's the king of Halloween Town. He has this big entrance at the beginning and like flaming pumpkin and fucking like very Sleepy Hollow-esque where he does the forward somersault. Like, it's really, really cool. And then when he goes to Christmas Town, he's like, I can do this better because I know best. And then even when people try and tell him no, he's like, how silly of you. Of course, I'm Jack. Even at the end, when the military are shooting fucking mortars at him, he's like, you're shooting at me, but I'm the Pumpkin King. I'm like, you are the most narcissistic prick on the face of the planet.
I get that, but at the same time, is that his fault?
I kind of
the way he's treated and worshipped within this town. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he is right for being the way he is, but I feel like if I was him, I understand why. Like that level of appreciation would fucking swell my brain. I would be walking around like I own the planet.
I like the overall story of this, and I like the fact that they make Jack a very conflicted character. So he is the king of Halloween, and like after the Halloween celebrations are done, he's like, yeah, well, that's it for another year. Fuck, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. It's how I feel. Like, it's how I feel when we come in for movies I don't like on this show. It's like, oh, can't do that again. Let's sit there. I don't mind talking to you. Don't get me wrong. This isn't me going, fuck.
No. I get it. I have those moments throughout the year myself. And again, I've already mentioned it, but Action Month was one of them where I was like, I'm throwing in the towel, man. This is fucking bullshit. I'm not giving up this much of my time to do this shit anymore.
Exactly. And that's how Jack is. And I love that this sort of wander off into the forest, because you and me are both men. You and me, men, manly men. We would not confess this to our other halves, like, ever. But there are times when I will have a bit of a sulk and I'll go, I'm going to take the dog for a walk, or I'm going to go and do whatever. And I will take just a little bit longer and have some time to myself to get my thoughts together. And Jack does this. He just wanders off into the woods all day and all night. We get to meet Zero. Zero is really cool, and I'm not entirely sure how they animated him, but he looks awesome.
Yeah, very, very cool. It was one of the things that really stood out to me at how amazing it looked with the sort of translucentness of it. And I don't know whether that was I mean, the only way I can imagine they did that was by adding that as a layer. So filming it and then adding it as an overlay. He was always an overlay character to the actual filming. So they never filmed Zero on set. Like, you know, like the way stop motion animation works, Jack will have been, they will have filmed the whole Jack thing, and then they would have filmed the Zero stuff separately, and they would have overlaid it with a slightly more hazed effect over the top. It looks amazing. Do you know what I mean? One thing I want to bring to question about Zero is love the character. No shade on Zero. but he is a fucking influence amongst everything. Like Smashing Pumpkins is one of my favorite bands. One of their albums, Zero. I didn't know it was because of this.
Do you know one thing that you probably didn't notice? And I guarantee there are hundreds of thousands of the Nightmare Before Christmas fans who also didn't know. Get a picture of Zero, zoom in really, really close. His glowing red nose is a pumpkin.
I do. I thought.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome stuff. Really, really cool. But yeah, like I say, like Zero and Smashing Pumpkins is like a big thing. Like in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, he's got the whole Zero thing going on, and he wears a Smashing Pumpkins Zero stuff. I didn't know it was because of this movie, and obviously, clearly, they're a big fan of A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why. Do you know what I mean? But and again, Skelly. In fact, no, I'm not even apologizing to you. We have to talk after this because you focus your life around a movie that's not very good.
Skelly, it's fine. I knew this was coming, so I teed up something just for you.
No, listen, I don't want to be that guy tonight. I didn't want to be that guy coming in here, and I didn't want to be that guy going in watching it. I wanted to love this movie, and I wanted it to be something that I was like, why have I left it so long to check out this film? But I'm going to say it now so we all know where we stand with my thoughts going into the rest of the episode. I just don't understand it, man. I don't understand the love for it. I don't understand the pop cultural phenomenon that surrounds this film. Not because it's a bad movie based on its creation and the technical aspects that go into making it. Visually, it's beautiful. Number one, it's, let's just say it's a musical kind of thing.
Yeah, it's great.
One of the songs is great. Maybe two of the songs are great. Everything else in between is forgettable. Mr. Ooga Boogie, his song's fantastic as well, actually. Or maybe three of the songs are fantastic.
This is going to be another movie that by the end you're going to be like, yeah, do you know what? You're right. It's fucking great. It's not. It's not going to
change my mind. It's not going to change my mind. There's a few good songs in here, but overall the consistency of the musical scores and the musical cues aren't that great and are very forgettable. The characters within this movie, I actually quite like.
Awesome.
To a certain degree. Jack is not a very likable character throughout this movie. There's a lot of decisions that he makes that are very bad and wildly just fucking, what were you even thinking to think that you were going to get away with doing this kind of shit? Sally is a very weak female character. I don't like her much in this movie at all.
I've got a lot to say about Sally.
Yeah, I just think she's very weak, and I get the whole creation aspect behind it and how downtrodden she is as a character, but I think in moments where she has the opportunity to rise up and be what she should be in this movie, she never fulfills that sort of arc, and that's underwhelming. And in all honesty, I just don't know where this movie sits within the seasons, because it's not a Halloween movie, because when Halloween comes around, I'm not going to watch this film because I'm not ready for Christmas. And by the time Christmas rolls around, I'm not going to watch this movie at Christmas either, because it's fucking bleak as shit. Like, it's not the holly jolly Christmas happy reindeer kind of shit I was expecting come the end. It's just dark, man. It's a very grim, bleak movie that just doesn't bring me with joy. And
do you know where it lives? So it's kind of the clue is in the fucking name of the movie. So you have Halloween, and then somewhere in the midpoint of November, you watch The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it is your transition from.
But that's
Halloween
the thing, because it leans so heavily into both, it doesn't sit well in the middle. And that's my issue that I found with it. Like, I was pumped at the moment. I'm like, yes, I'm Christmas. I'm ready to go. I watched this movie, mate, and I just was fucking sad. Like, I was genuinely sad. I was like, oh, that was not what I wanted. Like, the thing before, I was pumped. What's this? There's something
awesome.
in the amazing. I was like, right, continue that momentum, and this is going to be the fucking
Christmas
best movie of all time. I loved everything when he was in Christmas Land.
That, like, he goes to the doors and he gets all the different doors and he opens the Christmas one, which, let's be honest, it's the most enticing door of all of them. I would have saying that. Thinking about it, I'd probably go through the St. Patrick's Day door, because that should be people throwing up and drinking beer. It'd be fucking awesome.
Walking into It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
So what happens is the Valentine's Day door just like a massive orgy?
Oh, See, this is another thing. Like, I was really curious about all the other doors, and I was like, is this like supposed to be a thing? Are they going to make more? And then they brought the Easter Bunny in later on. I was like, yeah, you've probably not got the legs to take this any further than it has, to be honest.
No, like, when he goes into Christmas Land, What's This is the best song in the movie for me.
Without a doubt.
Like, I absolutely love that. And I love the way that Jack's character is very menacing. Even like he's doing, what's this? What's this? And then he gets up in the children's room. He's like, there's children sleeping. And like, they fucking changed the light. So he looks sinister as fuck. And then like he touches that elf. And the elf, like, and then he disappears. The elf sits up like, the fuck was that? I've had a nightmare.
Yeah.
I've never had a nightmare. What is this?
Yeah.
Like, all of that's brilliant. I also love the panic that the town is in. Like, where's Jack? I love that the mayor is amazing. I can't make a decision on my own. I'm just an elected official. Fucking, I was crying.
I love him. And again,
crying.
finding out who the actor was who voiced him as well. I love that actor. Such a tragedy what happened to him. I love him so much. He was fantastic in this. His best movie, without question, is Dunstan Checks In. I love him in Dunstan Checks In. I could watch that movie every single day for the rest of my life and die happily. He's such a great actor. His comedic timing is brilliant, and he does a fantastic job. And I think overall, the voice acting in this movie is great. I like Catherine O'Hara. I think she's very underutilized in this film, if I'm honest with you.
And Jack's obviously got two voices. So the singing voice is Danny Elfman, and he's got the acting voice is Chris Sarandon. Both they sound so alike as well. It's seamless when they go from one to the other.
Very, very seamless. And I knew it was Chris Sarandon who voiced him in the movie, but it wasn't until after a bit of IMDbing once the film had finished that I realized it wasn't actually him singing. Which always confused me because I've seen stuff before in the past with like stage show stuff where Catherine O'Hara sang with Danny Elfman and stuff like that, and they sound identical. I'm like, oh, is Danny Elfman putting on a Chris Sarandon voice? But it turns out no, there was dual roles within the movie to do it.
Yeah, I think like from a performance standpoint, like this would make the world's greatest stage musical.
Is it not one already? I think it is. I
don't think it is. Call in. If you're a new listener, you can call into the show, leave us a voicemail on X or Instagram, and like just leave an audio DM and we'll play it on the show. You'll hear some later. I don't think it is, and I think it would make a great one. The story of this is basically Jack goes to Christmas Land, comes back, has a crisis. He calls a town meeting where he tries explaining Christmas to someone who's never seen Christmas before, and he's trying to say, "Look, it's really good," and they're like, "Oh, so in the box is there a head?" He's like, "No, there's not a head."
I did chuckle quite a lot.
And he's like, it's the fact that he has that moment where he steps and goes, "Well, I'll give them what they want," and then he goes into this whole big spiel of how it's like really evil, and he goes, "And the man who rules this place is Sandy Claus." I'm like, you fully sold it to the Halloween town. They're like, "This is the greatest thing we've ever heard of. Fuck Halloween, this is what we're doing." And then Jack disappears off and does his like Frankenstein moment where he's got all of his experiment. Him trying to solve Christmas is really enjoyable to me. Like him cutting the what's meant to be the snowflake and he pulls it out and it's a spider, and like getting the bauble and crushing it and like sprinkle it in. It's like, oh, the reaction. It's so interesting. But what does it mean? I'm like, it means fuck all, Jack. Nothing at all.
And this again, like I was still really heavily invested in this movie at this point because again, we'd just come out of Christmas Land. He's discovered all this, and like the idea of him trying to find out what it all means and what's the purpose behind it was like so interesting, and to see it from that perspective of what does all this mean, and we ourselves know that it means absolutely nothing. But seeing it from such a inquisitive mindset was really, really interesting. And at this point, I'm still checked in on this movie. I'll be honest. I'm still like heavily like, yes, this is great. But it just doesn't get the resolution it deserves at all.
Well, I kind of get that. We'll get to the resolution when we get there. I kind of get what you're saying. I probably have a different take on it to you. Sally, I have an interesting take on Sally. So Sally has been made. Well, people aren't going to like this, and just to clarify, like, this is the Nightmare Before Christmas episode. This has an explicit rating everywhere it goes, because we're not talking about this as a kids movie, because we're a horror podcast. Sally is effectively a glorified sex doll made for the weird disabled guy, and the weird disabled guy, he bugs the shit out of me. So he can make Sally. He makes himself another wife later on, takes half his brain out to make it. He can make flying reindeer, but you're telling me he can't fix his own fucking legs? Like, he's got so many issues of like, I need someone to look after me. I need to have someone being my mummy. And Sally's like, as much as Sally's oppressed, and she's basically drugging her sugar daddy to go out and see another man. That's where we are with Sally.
That's exactly where we are with Sally. One thing that I liked about her creator, the Victor Frankenstein of the movie, if you will, he has that flap on his head and he itches his brain. And when he did it, I was like, oh, I wish I could do that. It's the same feeling I get when I watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 and Chop Top's there with a coat hanger itching his brain. I'm like, there are so many instances in my life where my brain just itches, and I would love to be able to just lift a flap and just give it a scratch. Like when he did it, like, that was one of the biggest takeaways from this movie for me, was like, oh, I wish I could do that.
See, I think his character's great. He's really menacing, really sinister, and he does it all in a very kind of like, he's an asshole, and he's been using Sally as a sex doll, but it's not.
I never went down the sex doll route, I'll be honest with you.
I'm sorry, whether people like it or not, this movie is fucking littered with innuendo. Later on, you've got Oogie Boogie with a full-ass foot fetish.
Yeah,
like,
Oogie Boogie's
full-ass. Oogie Boogie's got fucking issue. Like, if you like feet, cool. But foot fetish should not be in a fucking movie. Like, he goes over to Sally's leg, and like, the first thing he does is kick off the shoe, and like, he's having a good look at her toes. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Quentin Tarantino.
He's Quentin Tarantino of the world of Nightmare Before Christmas.
I have to feel like that was a jab as well.
He's the Quentin Tarantino of Halloween Town. So the long and short of this is Jack decides he's going to steal the holiday and make it better. And he justifies this to himself by going, well, I'm depressed and miserable with my life, so I'm assuming Santa Claus is the same. We'll give him the night off. And this is where he employs the 3 trick-or-treaters to go and get Santa. And he's like, do not tell Oogie Boogie. And I like that. It's very much like, I know you 3 are the only 3 in this whole town, because Drippy Face and fucking dickhead with a machete in his forehead are not capable. You 3 are. So you go and do it, but do not tell him, because he's a dick and I don't like him. And it's explicit. Jack is very much like, do not tell him. And he goes almost as far as to say, because he's a prick and he's going to ruin everything. Just keep your mouth shut. And when they come back with the fucking Easter Bunny, I think that's brilliant. So funny.
Yeah, hilarious. I love that. That was really, really good. And it was just that innocence as well to the 3 children characters that I feel like it needed to provide. To them as a collective, and I did chuckle a lot. And again, it was one of those moments where I sat there, and it was around this time where I was pondering, what's behind the other doors? What if he hadn't gone into Christmas Town? Had he gone into Easter Town? What kind of movie would this have been? And then they came back with the Easter Bunny, and yeah, it just kind of resolved those sort of feelings for me, because I was like, yeah, there's not a lot of substance to this without it being going through the Christmas store.
Yeah, the thing I really like, or a couple of the characters I really like in this, you've got lots of different characters in the town. I quite like the band, which is clearly, the head in the guitar is clearly Danny Elfman. Like, couldn't look any more like Danny Elfman if you tried. But the characters I really like are the vampires.
I love the vampires.
I looked behind the Cyclops eye and he wasn't there. Like, they're great. But like, Jack does this thing where he calls everyone in to help him create Christmas. He's like, he brings the band and he's like, does dee 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 dee, and then they play it in like a G minor key, and it sounds like the most depressing shit you've ever heard. He's like, yeah, keep working on it. And then he brings in like the professor to make the reindeer.
That's
But he
cool.
brings in the vampires. He's like, I want you to do this, and gives them the box. They're like, yes, of course, we can do that for you, Jack. And then they fuck off with their umbrellas. They are so cool. I think they're awesome.
I like the way that they utilize sort of like the backing singers from oh shit. Not Rocket, Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Like they occasionally, like when there's a musical cue, they'll sort of come in as backing vocalists and stuff like that, which was cool. I did like the vampire characters a lot. And again, I liked a lot of the characters here. My issues with this movie do not lie with the characters or anything else really, other than the story itself. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and it's kind of here where the story, as much as I love this film, falls off a little bit for me. So Sally has her vision where she picks up the thistle and it turns into a Christmas tree and then ignites. And then Jack calls her in to make his suit. And she's like, Jack, it's all going to be wrong. He's like, no, you can get it right. It's really easy. Look, it's red. And it's got white cuffs and it's got white trim. You can do it. And of course it needs a hat. And he completely misses what she's saying. But like, when he gets all of his shit together and he gets off and he goes to fly off to the real world, it's the stuff in the real world that I find like this is meant to be like the most exciting part of the movie. And I find the Christmas toy delivery and the involvement of the army and real life, like human characters, I think they all look bad in comparison.
I didn't necessarily pick up what it wasn't that it looked bad for me. That was never really my focus on it. It was just not the kind of outlet that I was expecting it to be. So for me, I liked everything to this point. And I'm with you where this movie falls off, and this is a point where it falls off. It just turns into this really sort of unhappy, there is no resolution or joyfulness to come from this situation.
Yeah.
So as he's delivering all these things, he's not seen as a character who is trying to do good with the situation that he's put himself in.
That's because he's the villain.
But again, like that's not really, and again, this might be a personal thing to me as a viewer, but I just didn't want that from the story. I wanted this to be a joyful story within the world of this macabre that we get from Halloween Town. But introducing the macabre into such a joyful time of the year just felt really jarring and really grim, and it just wasn't pleasant, like all the army coming out and the police, and he's just traumatizing these houses with the presents that he's delivering. And although he feels like he's doing a good thing, because for him, the monstrosities that he's delivering are joyful things from his world.
The best gift in the world. I bought you a snake that eats your Christmas tree. What more could you want from me?
I get that, and I do get that, but it just doesn't translate very well in terms of the overall arc of the story.
I think one of the things I struggle with is the fact that Santa's got no powers in this. And I saw people talking about it online the other day. Like, why doesn't Santa just whiz out of Oogie Boogies? I'm like, because he hasn't got his hat. The magic's in the hat. Jack's got the hat. That's why. But I struggle with the concept of Santa being... So the kids capture Santa. They bring him back. Jack steals his hat. They take him back to Oogie Boogies. I love Oogie Boogie. I think that character is the best character in this. Well. Like, he's just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I find Santa, who, let's be honest, should be one of the strongest characters in this, to be really weak up until he's rescued and then he bollocks Jack. But for the entire period he's captured, and when Oogie Boogie's playing all the stupid games with him, like, at no point does Santa sort of do the, hold on a fucking minute, I am Santa Claus. Do you not know who I am? And it irritates me.
Yeah. First of all, why is Santa Asian?
He's not. It's just bad lighting.
You can't say it's bad lighting that makes him look Asian. He's very anime in this fucking movie.
It is Santa Claus.
I am Santa Claus. Oh, dude, no, fuck's sake, we can't do this. Right, no.
Ho.
Brilliant. We're walking a line, and I like it. Right. I'm gonna stop this in his tracks before I get out of control.
Merry Christmas.
Dude, my mind is racing with things that I should say, but I know I shouldn't, so I'm going to stop.
This may be the last episode of the You Run podcast as the internet cancels us next week.
You know how far I will take things, so please do not let this carry on.
So sorry.
No. Oh, it's like poking a fire. Leave me alone. Right. So, what I will say is, while we're on the the subject of Oogie Boogie, best character in the movie.
Yeah.
What a fucking presence when he is on screen. So cool. I like his gambling addiction. I love the songs that he brings to the movie. What an underutilized character in this film. Yeah. How easily he is dispensed by Jack is criminal. Like, they build him up to be something. And I feel like had this movie had a longer runtime, the distance when Jack is in the real world and Oogie Boogie taking over and enslaving Halloween Town, then Jack coming back would have had a little bit more momentum to his character and his arc. But the fact that it's so isolated to this weird little cave that he seems not to be able to leave, like, why can he not leave the cave that he's in? I just didn't get it, and it just felt really wasted, and it really pissed me off, man. Like, it really soured my taste on how bad they handled the Oogie Boogie character, because let's be honest, he's the best thing in the movie.
Yeah, he is. And anyone who wants to know more about Oogie Boogie and what happens next, there is not a sequel to this movie. However, there is a PlayStation 2 game, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, which tells the story of when Oogie puts himself back together and fucking comes for Jack. And it is one of the best games. The actual gameplay is dog shit. But play through the game just to watch the cutscenes. It is a whole other story of The Nightmare Before Christmas when Oogie's like, do you know what, Jack? I'm going to fuck you up now. And it's great. It's literally amazing.
I want that, but I imagine that's a very expensive game to get hold of nowadays.
It is not the cheapest.
No, no. I actually have the book, The Nightmare Before Christmas. There was a Tim Burton book that came out. I think it was fairly recently. I don't think it was one that was released immediately after the movie. And it has original Tim Burton illustrations in it. And it's a story of the movie. So it's like a reading book, almost like you would with a kid's book. It's that kind of thick, and it's got pictures as you read each page. And I own that, and it's a really, really good story. And I think the book is a lot of better version than the movie itself, if I'm being honest with you.
There's also an audio version of this. Like, if you listen to the full audio version, at the end, there's an extra scene where Santa comes back like 10 years later to visit Halloween Town to check in on Jack. And Jack and Sally have got kids, skeleton kids and stuff as well. So there is more to the story if you go and look for it. I love the fact that Oogie Boogie is basically the world's worst Bond villain. Like, he's got all the traps and like the whole lowering him down. And he's like rolling the dice and he doesn't get the number he wants to drop him. And he like fucking slams his foot on the floor like, oh, I got a 12. Brilliant. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like when he flips that panel back over and like Jack's had his I need to go back to Halloween Town moment, where there's a moment in this where Jack's like been shot down and he's collapsed on that statue.
Yeah, I like this scene.
He has the moment where it's like I should have stayed in my own fucking lane because I do not know what I'm doing.
Like, I like this. I like the embracing of who he is. Do you know? And it's like, I like, and it's because obviously he starts out and he's fed up, and he basically, The Nightmare Before Christmas is Jack Skellington's midlife crisis. That's what this movie is in its entirety. And I like the realization of he's tried his sports car, he's tried his young women, and he's like, do you know what? Maybe I should just go home to my wife and kids. And this scene was really that's kind of what this scene is, you know.
So what you're saying is Christmas Town was a Harley Davidson, a hooker, and a bag of cocaine.
That's exactly what it is for him. Yeah, the snow is clearly symbolism for powder. And that's my takeaway from this movie anyway. So I do like the scene of his realization on the statue where he's like, I am the Skeleton King, you know, and it's really cool. And he goes back, but again, he goes back, and the scene where you're like, right, this is it. This is him versus Oogie Boogie, who should have by this point escaped from his weird little trap that he's in that has no explanation, and sort of dominated the town of Halloween and tried to take over. He should have had the sniffling little mayor, like, doing what Oogie Boogie's telling him to because he's Jack's new replacement and all the rest of it. And then Jack coming back with this moment of, not on my watch, you don't. That would have been better. And I get it's stop motion animation. This shit takes time. For an hour and 12, maybe a 19-minute movie, that's very unheard of at the time of this movie's release for stop motion animation. We're talking in the times of Wallace and Gromit was 8 minutes long and we were fucking blown away by it.
Yeah.
So the fact that this had the runtime that it did is incredible. But it just does feel like there's a lot of context missing at the end. And I feel like they kind of got so far into it. And it's like, we really kind of need to wrap this up now. Otherwise, we're going to lose 10 years of our life making this movie.
Yeah, and I get that. And I actually like the moment where Oogie flips the panel. He's waiting for Sally and Santa to drop. And they don't. He flips it over and Jack's there. Like that moment, I think is great. I also love one of the best bits of this movie for me is Sally's attempt to save Santa. Where she
cuts her leg off.
she cuts her leg off, puts her leg through the door, and this is where Oogie like fully goes over, and he's like,
"Have a foot fetish."
I got a foot fetish. Like he kicks her, she off. He's like, "Oh!" Then like he goes to pull it, like run his hands up her leg. He's really pervy, and he like, pulls her leg quite often. He's like, "What is this?" And like her detached hands have come down the rope, and I'm like all of that is fucking brilliant. And Jack's reveal is brilliant. What's disappointing is the fight that ensues. So Oogie Boogie sets off his cowboy slot machines that Jack dances over.
Again, that's pretty cool though. I do like that. That was again that visually that looked really, really impressive.
Visually brilliant as a bit of a movie, kind of like just danced over him. But then he just grabs a loose thread and just chucks it up in the big machine that he had, and he just unravels him, and then he like falls into loads of bugs, which looks awesome, and falls in and dies. And like you get a scene in this, and I'll never understand this. So Sally and Jack, throughout the course of this movie, hour and whatever it is, have interacted fucking 6 times.
If that, he barely even acknowledges who she is.
Yeah, they've spoken for about 6 minutes in the entire movie, and they have this moment where they stand there and they're like, he's like, "I think I love you." And I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like, and earlier on in the movie, like when she comes to like do his costume for her, he couldn't give a flying fuck who she is, because she is just a peasant. She is something that's been made by another guy.
Yeah.
And he is the king of Halloween Town. He's like, just make the fucking suit, leave me alone. Yep. Jump forward a scene when they've spoken once. He's like, "Actually, Sally, you brought me that bottle of wine once that had a butterfly in it, and now I love you." What the fuck, Jack?
And again, this is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about with people's obsession with this movie and regarding it in such a high status within pop culture. I just don't get it. I don't get it. People talk about the relationship between Jack and Sally as being like even Blink-182. We can live like Jack and Sally if we want to. It's like, why is that even a thing? Why are you even singing about it? Because nobody wants to live like these two. He clearly does not give a fuck about Sally until he needs to.
Sally has got... I'm going to get fucking shot down. Skellington Van is going to get on a plane, come to my house and actually kill me. Sally is a manipulator. So she understands how to manipulate the sugar daddy she currently has to get out to lure her new sugar daddy in. And when she's got a new sugar daddy hooked in, like, she picks on Jack and interacts with Jack when he's at his emotionally worst. He's walking out through the forest, emotionally distraught that he's so upset with his own life. And Sally's like, "Do you know what? I've got a fucking in here. I've got an in to get him." And then throughout the rest of the movie, she just digs on that little way in. And at the end, she's like cashed in. She's like, "I fucking upgraded sugar daddy old fucker to this guy who, to be honest, he's probably the hottest guy in town. He's the shit. Yeah, he's the shit. He's going to bone me good." Sorry. And he's the actual king. And as much as I like the character of Sally, she is very much like, "I'm going to do away with you and I'm going to have you because you are fucking awesome."
Yeah, I mean, I get her breaking free from the shackles she's being confined to, but I get.
Yeah,
I don't buy into the relationship.
Terribly.
Yeah, I just don't buy into the relationship of the two of them. I just don't feel it's just enough. I don't feel there is enough character interaction between the two for them to get to the end game they get to so quickly. And again, it's just a problem with stop motion animation. I just don't feel like there was enough time to flesh out the context of this story properly. There's a lot of things missing with Oogie Boogie's character. And again, the main focus of this point of the conversation, which is Jack and Sally getting to where they get to and how they get there. It just felt very underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anything else you want to dive into before you go for your recommended account of the week?
I just want to say the version of This Is Halloween, the
Yeah,
second version in the movie is a
the
lot better when
reprise.
when the town get involved. That's for me, that was like, oh, this is a much better version than the original one that they opened up with. And I don't know when people play this song a lot, which one they tend to go for, but for me, I particularly enjoyed the latter version of the song than what was presented to us as it opened.
Yeah, and if you want the better version, the best version, in my opinion, if you go to Spotify, you can find a version where all of the villains from Disney are singing this. So you've got like Ursula sings a fucking verse, you've got Jafar sings a verse.
Oh, that
Like
sounds cool.
that is the best version. Anyway, I have a soundbite for Mark. I know he's found it already, but I have the soundbite anyway, so I'm going to play it. This is the old man who looks after looks after Sally before Jack snatches her away.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
We all know you did, you dirty, dirty perv. Anyway, this week's recommended account. So, as I've mentioned in this movie, I don't get it. I don't get where it goes and what the pop culture phenomenon is that surrounds it. So, I did a bit of digging and I went and checked out a few accounts on Instagram that basically build their entire account and fan base around this movie. One of the ones that I picked up on the most was Nightmare B4, which is B4 Xmas, spelt with a double S, strangely enough. This is an account that basically showcases quite a lot of reels featuring scenes from the movie, toys, collectibles, stuff like that. If you're a big Nightmare Before Christmas fan, this is definitely an account you should probably check out because they showcase a wide variety of products that are available to purchase, also whilst interjecting highlights from the movie that I'm sure all of you crazy whack jobs who spend your life idolizing a strange little animation movie that came out in the 90s will appreciate. So you can find them at Nightmare Before Xmas on Instagram. And as always, give them a like, give them a follow. Maybe this week, don't let them know the Urine podcast sent you there.
Probably not. It is December, and I wanted to come here with a very special message to all of the members of the You Run Podcast Network. Every single one of you have worked so incredibly hard this year to put out the best content you possibly can for our audience and yours. I am eternally grateful for every single member of the network, for all of the hard work that you put in promoting your shows, other people's shows, our show, the network itself. You are all absolute superstars, and I hope you all have a wonderful December. And for everyone who's listening, go to yourunpodcast.com, check out one of these awesome shows, and go and give these guys and girls a reward for all their hard work this year. Leave them a review, listen, interact with their show, and become part of the You Run Podcast Network family. Anyway, back to the show.
Thanks, Scott Trump. Make the You Run podcast great again. I don't know why I got Trump vibes from that speech. Billions and billions and billions.
I'm the greatest president there's ever been, like ever of all time. Go and check out Mark's recommended account. We'll link it somewhere in the episode, I'm sure. Also, go and check out the You Run Podcast Network, the yourunpodcast.com. There you'll find links to all of the shows that we've got. There are so many great shows that are part of this network, and they all deserve your support. Like, if you like this show, there is at least 10 more shows in there that you'll like. If you like true crime, there's another 8 shows you'll like. There's like 20 something shows, including ours, on the network. So yourunpodcast.com, go and pick one of them and check out a couple of episodes. Also, while you're there, you'll find links to our socials. You'll find a link to Instagram where you can vote on the movies in this show. You can also follow Mark. He is VHS from the Crypts, where he shows off VHS from the Crypts, no, Crypt. VHS from the Crypt, where he shows off his excellent collection of VHS, and Reviews from the Crypt. But when the mood takes him, he reviews horror movies. It's coming to Christmas now, so the reviews are going to increase, I'm sure.
I've been doing all right recently. There's been some fair few knocked out. You've had maybe 10 this year.
You've had one a month. What more do you want from me?
What do you want, guys? I'm a busy man.
Also, go to patreon.com/You Run Podcast. That's where you can get all of the extra access to this show. As of the 1st of December, we have 7 episodes per week. That's 1 a day. That's 3 early release YouTube episodes. You've got an early release of this show, so you'll listen to this the Thursday before it goes on general release. You've also got 3 Patreon exclusives in there as well, and some other stuff. On top of that, you've got You Run Extra, True Crime Extra, the return of You Run Podcast True Crime, which is back on the 15th of December. And I'm going to play a special ad for True Crime Extra right now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh la la. Oh, whoa. King in the castle, king in the castle. Have a chair, I have a chair. Oh, go do this, king in the castle.
And it's just dawned on me that's not as good if you're not watching us on Spotify or YouTube.
That has no context whatsoever if you are just listening to the episode.
Exactly. But go and check out You Run Podcast True Crime. We are back. We've been away since July. We are back on the 15th of December. And I'm really excited for that. That's about it. Go and check out all the wonderful things that we do. Go and check out all the wonderful things that You Run Podcast Network do. And well, I guess we'll do some of the other stuff.
Oh, interesting. I learned one new fact today.
Let's do some facts. This movie took so for every second of film, it is 12 stop motion animation moves per second.
And how many moves do they make per day?
So this took 100 animators just over 3 years to make.
Wow. Again, that's why I love stop motion animation. It is such an art.
And like that employed 100 people, 100 stop motion animators for 3 years. They got to work on this. I am, in truth, I imagine being a stop motion animator is the most fucking boring job in the world.
Oh.
You do a 12-hour day and the leg of whatever you're moving has moved like an inch.
Yeah, you've got 20 seconds of clip.
It must be so destroying.
Not even that.
But not even that. Like,
you must have to have the patience of a saint to be able to do this as a job, I think.
Yeah, I genuinely think I would struggle to do this, but I love stop motion animation. I'm going to be honest, my introduction to stop motion animation was Rolf Harris. And I know he's a
something you should probably advertise on the show.
Horrible, terrible, pedo, nasty man, but he used to have a TV show when I was growing up. Well, this sounds awful.
It was like an aardvark, was it? Or like it looked like a weird creature thing with
what he
funny
used to
ears.
do is this I'm going to say what he done and just try and ignore the context of which it is now, because it wasn't the context I watched it in. He would get a group of kids.
No, all right, you've lost me already, dude.
Exactly.
I just don't know if you should tell this story.
He would take them to his animation studio and he'd teach them.
Again, you need to stop.
It's bad, isn't it? It's really bad. So Danny Elfman was chosen to sing and voice Jack Skellington. They made the decision that Danny Elfman couldn't act effectively. His voice was too stiff and too wooden and didn't carry any emotion. The sole reason they cast Chris Sarandon is because he sounded like Danny Elfman. That was the reason. Yeah. Zero's nose is a jack-o'-lantern or a pumpkin. We mentioned that earlier. So there is a voiceover to this movie. Vincent Price was initially cast. Vincent Price was initially cast as Santa. He recorded all of his dialogue for the film
as Santa Claus. And
it never got released. So this was recorded just after Vincent Price's wife had died, and his health was declining, and the decision was made that his vocal performance felt very weak and sounded genuinely like an old man. So they chose not to use it and recast it. It's one of the things that the director says is one of his biggest regrets about this movie is that Vincent Price couldn't deliver what he wanted him. He wanted him so badly. And then when he got the audio back, listened back to it, and he's like, oh man, it's just sad. Like, it's so sad.
Heartbreaking, yeah.
Heartbreaking and tragic. And I'm going to see if I can find any of Vincent Price's original recordings. I'm sure they're lurking somewhere, and if they are, I'll put them out on Reels and TikTok and everywhere else. So the director, Henry Selick, he changed the ending. So basically, at the end, Oogie Boogie was going to be revealed as the evil doctor, as I think he's Finkenstein. So, you know, the dodgy, the disabled guy. So Oogie Boogie was going to be revealed as him. And the whole thing was the fact he was jealous over the fact that Sally loved Jack and not him. Tim Burton, when he heard the news, flew in from LA to where this was being shot, had a blazing row with Selick, kicked a hole in the wall that some of the production staff cut out of the wall afterwards, framed it and sold it on eBay. And he basically had the world's biggest tantrum to the point that he basically went, I will go to Disney and pull the plug on the whole fucking project if you do not do what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of that. Not only is there not enough time in this movie to be able to flesh that out to execute it properly.
That's Burton's argument.
There just wasn't enough substance behind it. If that had been the reveal, I'd be like, that makes no sense, because there just wasn't enough backbone to it.
Yeah, exactly that. Originally, a longer version of Drac trying to get the true meaning of Christmas was fully animated and then cut over runtime issues. So there is basically a sequence where he does various illustrations to try and identify the meaning of Christmas. And what he does is so he draws Santa in his monster form. So, you know, he called him Santa Claus or Sandy Claus.
Sandy Claus, yeah.
He draws a sandy monster with claws as part of his, like, and then pins it on his board. And there's a whole another sequence where Jack's like really like, fuck, why doesn't it all make sense? And I kind of wish they kept that in, because I enjoyed that bit of the movie.
I did. I was a big fan of that. Again, though, adding more substance to it and more runtime to that particular scene maybe would have dragged it out a bit more than it needed to be. So the decisions that have been made, in fact, with points that have been cut and Tim Burton's arguments and stuff so far, I'm very for. You know, there's not one of them where I've been like, they shouldn't have probably done that. Even as much as I would have liked to have Christopher Lee voicing Santa, it makes sense. Vincent Price. Sorry, as much as I would have liked that, that kind of doesn't tie in very well.
No, if you've got a really like old man Vincent,
it would have been like Halloween 6, where just seeing Donald Pleasance staggering along is just depressing.
But Halloween 4 through Halloween 6.
No. We're just talking about Halloween 6 with his declining health.
How much do you reckon this cost him to make? Bear in mind, it's 3 years worth of work for 100 animators plus.
This was one of the things that when you mentioned it earlier, I was like, how much are they paid per hour? Just out of curiosity. I have no idea. This is one of those things where, like, I don't think stop motion animators are paid well enough in terms of the hours and times they put into it. So if I was to stack it upon the 3 years they spent making this movie and the wages they probably should have been paid, I can guarantee it's nowhere near enough of what it should have been. So I would wildly inflate my guess based on justification of what they should have been paid, but it was probably way off. So I'm going to skip this one, I think, because I just don't think I'll be anywhere near.
It's 18 million.
That doesn't go very far for 3 years.
It really doesn't. It made 108 million worldwide in its initial release. They then done a secondary release about 5 years later, where it made another 100 and something million. And then they had DVD sales, and then they had streaming. This has made over $500,000. Sorry, over $500 million.
Yeah, with merchandise.
This is everywhere. That's not including merchandise. $500 million just in releases, physical media, and streaming. At least $500 million. If you stack all the merchandise, and like, I've got merchandise. I've got Jack and Sally sat behind me there. They were like 60 quid each. Like, there's 120 quid there, and they probably sold 1 million of those each.
Yeah, it's nuts. And like, you walk into like your local Asda and they're getting the Christmas stuff out, and there's like Jack Skellington mugs and pajama sets, and it's like, this is a 90s movie that's not that good. Why is this still a thing?
You say that
30, 40 years later.
My daughter is obsessed with this. We've got loads of Jack Skellington and Sally stuff for Christmas, because the Nightmare Before Christmas for her is like the greatest thing she has ever seen. When I watched for this episode, I was like, "Oh, do you want to watch with me?" She's like, "Yeah, do the sing along version." And on Disney Plus, there's a sing along version where the little ball dances along.
Yeah.
She's like, "You're not singing, Daddy." I was like, "Yeah, I know." So I literally watched this and sung all the way through it. And afterwards, like, right, okay, it's bedtime now. Where's my beer? I need a beer now.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to show this to my daughter. She's very sensitive.
Yeah, it's only been
like
in the last year that Ocean's like really latched on and gone, Joe, what? That's really good. And she's really, if out of her and my son Jack, like she's really latched on to like the horror and the Halloween stuff. Like she loves The Nightmare Before Christmas. She loves Gremlins. She watched Jaws the other day for the first time. She's like, that's amazing. That shark, like his head rolled off. Like she was excited to see the head drop out. Like, you know, when we watched that and the head comes
she
out.
said Jaws was amazing?
She did.
She's definitely your daughter, then, isn't she?
she's never watching Deep Blue Sea because she cannot turn on me.
No, because yeah, exactly. You know she would.
We have a couple of voicemails, and stupidly, I've either named them both the same thing, or I've dragged in the wrong one twice. I'm going to drag in another one just in case I fucked up.
This is what I was saying earlier. We're average at best.
No, I still maintain we're the best. Let's play this one first.
I haven't finished listening to the episode, but Mark and BP having a cheek. You were calling me pervy, Becky, and here you are, perving all over Heather.
I don't recall perving over Heather.
Go back and listen to the Spawn episode. There was definitely some perving over Heather.
Why? What did I do?
I can't remember, but if Becky says there was,
false claims. False. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I did not.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
We also have another voicemail. This is a voicemail that Dave recorded previously, and we couldn't play it because he had copyrighted music over the back of it. So Dave, being as awesome as he is, done it again.
Hello. So it seems like I have a little bit of power, and I get to pretty much make Scott and Mac do whatever I want. So what I want is John Carpenter's Vampires. It's one of my go-to comfort movies. I think it's fantastic. Probably James Woods' best performance, and it's a really fun film. I'd love to see what you think about it. In addition to that, I think we need an extreme version of Broken Spirit, just so I can fuck with Mark a little bit. Cheers, later.
There's no fucking with me. You've given me everything I've wanted. John Carpenter's Vampires, a fucking amazing movie. I've pulled that movie for the past 3 years and it's never won. And I don't get why, because it's fantastic. And again, you're right. James Woods' character is wild in that movie, and I can't wait to talk about it. As for the Broken Spirit shit, I love it. I feel like I am the champion, and I will die on that hill.
You're currently not, but
no, I haven't been for the past 3 years, but I feel like it's because I give it my all.
In January, we're going to do that episode, and we're going to do. It'll be the last ever edition of Broken Spirit, because next year it is being replaced. But Broken Spirit 2.0 will have its last outing. It will be 10 questions for you, and all 10 of those questions are going to be picked by our listeners.
You see, this is the thing. That's where it becomes an issue, because you'll get people like Jay and Beck calling in and asking me to speak Elvish for 5 minutes. And that's
you could probably do that. You're enough of a Lord of the Rings nerd to do that. You could have a conversation in Elvish and Uruk-hai for an entire fucking episode. Don't pretend that you can't.
I'm just swaying the questions here.
Yeah. This week we've done something different. Instead of asking you for a caption this or caption this or taglines or whatever else other stuff we do, we asked you simply for your favorite Christmas memory, because it's Christmas time and we want to do something that's a little bit more heartfelt. You all come in trumps. Actually, I didn't pick a lot of these because I wanted to pick ones that really felt special. So Chat Grand 67, staying up late when I was a kid to watch the Christmas Ghost Story. Do you remember this?
No, I don't. And I've never watched, what was the other one that they did, the Halloween special? The BBC Halloween special. Was it Night Watch or something like that? I
Yeah,
never
yeah.
watched that either. I should go back and watch that as well.
You really should. Leprechaun 81, known to the entire show as Imitation Dave. He is the voice who goes, "You want to die tonight" at the beginning of every episode, apart from at Christmas, because he's not on the Christmas run. Christmas Eve in the late 90s. Family has a few drinks, watched The Life of Brian as per tradition. Amazing.
Brilliant.
Then the decision was made to go to midnight mass after The Life of Brian. That's a bad decision, Dave. Hilarity ensues as every time the priest mentions Jehovah or anyone biblical sounding in capacity, there is hilarity that ensues throughout the crowd. We never attended midnight mass again. I'm assuming that's because you were not invited back.
I've done midnight mass, and again, this is probably quite a weird thing for me to explain because I've made my stance on religion quite clear. But my wife and my mother-in-law lost her husband. They're not religious per se. My wife's certainly not either. She has a similar stance to I do. Sorry. But for some reason, it's just something, it's like a traditional thing. Like it's more like an honoring thing as opposed to anything else, where they tend to want to do the midnight mass thing. And I tend to go with them out of solidarity, if you will. But we have a beautiful church in our town. We have one of the best churches in the country. It's the Beverley Minster. If any of you want to Google and check what the church is, it's absolutely amazing. And for some reason, being there on Christmas and seeing the architecture involved within that building and having a choir there singing Christmas songs and doing the whole service thing, it's fucking mega, man. I absolutely love it. I do love going to midnight mass, not from a religious perspective, but just because of the atmosphere it provides.
But if you take that scenario now, and then when someone says the Messiah, and then you get Dave and his family.
Yeah.
He's a very naughty boy. He's not the Messiah. Like that would make that, for me, as someone who doesn't attend church. I've been to midnight mass before. But if I went to midnight mass and someone in the back going, "He's not the Messiah, he's a naughty," I'd be dying.
Oh,
I'd
man.
literally be in bits. I'd have to.
You know what? I think I should just become that person and just attend midnight masses throughout the country and just do that. Just do the whole Life of Brian bit and see how many I could make it through before I get pitchforks after me down the street.
And then when you get escorted out, you need to go, "Always look on the bright side of life," and see if you can get anyone else in there to go.
Yeah, I imagine they would. It would be very hard to resist doing the whistle, I think, regardless of whether you was with me or against me.
Yeah, exactly that. Bloody Babble. This is a really interesting one. Technically, it hasn't happened. We take my son every Christmas Eve to look at lights, particularly in one street, which is always decked out. This year, we live on that street. So, unbeknownst to him, the tradition becomes a Christmas walk this year.
Cool.
That's awesome. Like, imagine your kid, like, every year you go take him to the street and they're going, "Are we going to the street side?" And you go, "Yeah," and just walk them outside. Like
Just literally open your front door and it's there across the street. That's brilliant.
Moment. And finally, Kate 5678, Kate L 5678. This is Patreon member, awesome person.
7, 8. Boot scooting, baby,
driving.
I could see you mouthing it like you were doing it before I even said it.
When I was 6, I was in Singapore just before Christmas, and all the hotels had gingerbread houses in the lobbies. Some of those were intricate and some were huge. My grandmother took me around to see them in our hotel. You could walk through the gingerbread house. That's a fucking big gingerbread house.
That is massive.
Yeah, the smell of gingerbread takes me back to being a little girl and holding my granny's hand.
Oh, that's sweet.
Really, really sweet. What's your favourite Christmas memory?
It's a weird one. I don't have many childhood sort of Christmas memories. For me, my favorite Christmas memories come from being like a teenager and hitting that point where I had like a telly in the bedroom, and then you'd get like some of your favorite shows would have Christmas specials.
Yeah.
And I remember The League of Gentlemen like really hit me in my early teen years, and I became obsessed with that show. And after like season 2, they did a Christmas special, And I watched it, and it was one of the most darkly haunting things that I've ever seen, that centered around the Christmas period. And even to this day, it's the only thing I think about when I come to Christmas. Like, I'm utterly just so uncontainably excitable about watching the League of Gentlemen Christmas special this year, because I don't watch it throughout the year. I'd never watch it throughout the year, but as soon as we get to this season and I start banging the lights up and things like that, like, the tape's up there on the shelf now calling to me, and I know I'm going to watch it, but I'm also biding my time to put it in. And the same can be said for Men Behaving Badly. They had a fantastic Christmas special episode where, like, it was like a really weird parallel universe episode of Men Behaving Badly, where you had Tony in the flat with, and then they also did like this thing where they had like this perfect Christmas of what the perfect Christmas should be running alongside of it. And then they'd fuck up the Christmas turkey, and they'd go to the local 24-hour garage, and they'd get like Skittles and shit like that. But then at the same time, they'd do all the casting characters running this perfect A Christmas Carol kind of Christmas alongside of it. And it's brilliant. And I remember discovering things like that and being like, oh, wow. Like, I don't know if this is an American thing, but a lot of like British sitcoms always had Christmas specials every year.
Yeah. Mrs. Brown's Boys is a prime example.
Mrs. Brown Boys, Only Fools and Horses, Gavin and Stacey then became a culprit. It was just a really big thing within British sitcoms. And for me, that was always a really big excitement to get to that point of seeing this. And I don't know whether that's just me as a person. I very much live my life through escapism, if you will, which is one thing my wife always questions me regarding my love for horror. It's like, why do you love horror so much? It's like, it's just an escapism thing, you know. Life is hard, life is fucking brutal. I can just switch off and watch what I enjoy watching and put myself in a different fucking place. And I used to do that a lot of the times growing up with Christmas movies. And I know that sounds really depressing, that you're like, oh, you want to escape Christmas and life and stuff. No, it wasn't that. It's just that weird insight to different perspectives that I always really embrace. And that was one of mine growing up, was seeing those specials. And they're the things that really reminisce with me when I come to this time of the year. I get excited to go back and watch some of those things that I discovered as a kid. Mr. Bean, for example, Mr. Bean's Christmas, where he gets this turkey on his head, and then he tries to make twiglets and he starts cutting sticks off the tree outside.
I'm going to blow your mind with Mr. Bean. I learned something this week with Mr. Bean that is so fucking obvious, but I didn't know it.
If you tell me that you didn't know this, I'm going to be really disappointed in you as a person.
Mr. Bean's an alien.
Of course he's a fucking alien. It's a UFO that drops him on the pavement in the opening credits.
Honestly, it was this week. I watched it. I was flicking through shit on YouTube, and there's an unreleased Mr. Bean episode, and I clicked it on. And then he gets beamed down. It's the first time I've ever really gone, hang on a minute.
Of course, beam me down, Scotty. He's a fucking alien falling from a ship, and the light goes, and the ship goes. Even the sound effects to it make it.
I know, and it never dawned on me until like literally 2 days ago. Like, everything in Mr. Bean makes so much fucking sense now. Why he's such an awkward little prick, and I didn't get it before, and I can't
believe it.
I felt so thick. For me, the thing that gets me for Christmas, every Christmas, I want to go and buy a Master System 2. So when I was about 10 years old, there was we weren't a particularly rich family growing up, and I remember the year that I turned 10, it was quite a hard year. Like, we had a lot of Findus crispy pancakes that year, let's put it that way. And I remember my parents like dialing in Santa might not be able to bring much this year, Santa's really busy. And under the tree I had 3 presents, and I remember getting up and being like, oh, 3 presents, what the fuck? Like, wow, they weren't lying. I like, my dad just handed me this massive box. I'm like, if this is shoes, Christmas. And I remember opening it, and that feeling of seeing a fucking brand new Master System 2 box, like that feeling, I will never ever have that joy again. Like, I opened that, and then it was like this frantic fucking unwrap the others, and I had Sonic the Hedgehog, and I had Altered Beast, and I had something else, and I was like,
that is the greatest game ever made. I own that, and I love it. It's like my prized possession.
Yeah, and it was like my dad is like, oh, do you want to unwrap it? I'm like, oh yeah, let's get it out. He's like, it's already set up. Like, he just wrapped the box. He'd been sat there all fucking night playing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
But it was all set up, and that for me was like, I can play it right now. Like, I'm still in my pajamas. Like, I can play it now. This is like his first console I ever had, and but yeah, that memory will never ever be eclipsed for me. It was just such a like. I sat there all morning. My dad went and cooked like a full English breakfast, and I just sat there playing Sonic the Hedgehog and like stopping and like going, oh, there's a game built in. I can play Alex the Kid in Miracle Land. Like, this is awesome. And even now, Alex the Kid in Miracle Land, one of the best games I've ever played. Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I don't have Alex Kidd in Miracle Land. I do. This is a nostalgia hit for you, though. I'll get this out just for you. Oh, the light is terrible. There you go.
Yeah.
Altered Beast, man. Greatest game ever made.
Yeah.
It's really depressing me now that you talk about stuff like this, because I don't have memories of joy from like childhood like that. Me and my wife talk about stuff like this all the time, and she always says to me like, oh, what, like similar to the questions you presented tonight, like your childhood memories and things like that. I just don't have them. I don't have them. Yeah, that makes me sad, man. It makes me sad that I've blocked all that shit out and just kind of not got to that place where I'm like, oh, I remember one Christmas I got this. I just do not remember, dude. I do not remember any sort of like Christmas moment from being a child or
misspent teen years though that have fucking destroyed those brain cells.
Maybe so, yeah. Maybe so. Don't do drugs, kids.
In the words of Mr. Garrison, drugs are bad and kind. I decided we were going to play a game this week.
You want to play a game?
It is a brand new game that we have never ever played before. I actually created something new. So I am going to test Mark's Christmas movie knowledge. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to give him the name of a director.
And no.
Yeah. And all you need to do is tell me what Christmas movie that director directed. It's really easy. Like all of these movies.
I don't think it is. Immediately my mind's gone. Right, okay, I'll try.
Yeah, I think you'll do all right. So we're going to start easy. They're going to get progressively harder. We're going to start with Joe Dante.
Gremlins.
It is Gremlins, that's correct. We're going to go with another Joe Begos.
Christmas Bloody Christmas.
Yeah, doing really, really well. Charles E. Sellier Jr.
Who the fuck is Charles E? Who names their child that for a start?
Charles E. Sellier Jr. I'm going to say it now. If you have a child and you name them the same name as you and you call them Junior, you are a prick.
Yeah, 100%. Like, why are you not asking John Hughes and shit like that early on in this quiz? Not fucking Charles E. Sellier Jr.
It is a really famous Christmas horror. Take a punt there.
Horror.
Really
Christmas
famous.
horror.
All of these are Christmas horrors. Every single
right,
one.
Okay. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Spot on.
Thank you very much.
Nailed it. This is a double act. Phil and Jared Brooks. I'm going to give you a hint. This is a British Christmas horror.
British Christmas horror movie.
Yeah. And it's fucking awesome, and we need to get it on the show. We done it on YouTube years ago, but it needs to come on the main show.
What? And I did it with us on the show.
Oh yeah. You done it on a YouTube episode 3 years ago.
British Christmas horror movie.
They sing, they dance. There's a big candy cane.
Oh! Anniversary of the Apocalypse. Fuck yes. Why has that movie not come to my mind this year? Why have I not watched that yet?
I don't know. However, when you me and you spoke off air last week, and you finalised your picks for the final poll of the year.
Oh, you motherfucker!
And I then went, okay, cool. You finalised yours now. So I then went and threw Anna and the Apocalypse in on my list.
Why didn't I think? Because I was so confident in my list, and there was nothing that I knew you would be able to present that would trump what I had.
Yeah. So next week's going to be fucking close.
Oh no.
Up next, this is a film we've covered on the show. We've not done a lot of Christmas movies. Michael Dougherty, or Doherty.
Michael Dougherty, that name rings a bell. Christmas Evil?
No, it was Krampus. But you're doing well. So far you've got 4 out of 5.
I'll just go with what we've done on the show. I'll be honest with you. I do recognize the name.
The next one. 2 movies he's done that are Christmas horrors, 2 movies we've covered on the show. Tommy Wirkola. We covered one of his movies last year, and we've covered one of his movies this year.
Fuck. I should really get better and more familiar.
But how many Christmas episodes we've done this year? He didn't direct The Nightmare Before Christmas. There's a big clue there.
Oh shit! All right, thanks for the hint. What did we?
What did we do last week?
What did we do last week? Fuck's sake! We did
Zombies in the Snow, Nazis.
Oh, Dead Snow. Dead Snow.
He's done Dead Snow. He also directed Violent Night. He's also directing Violent Night 2.
Oh, he's the same director. I did not know that. We didn't mention that on the show, did we?
No, I only found out when I put this quiz together.
I was going to say.
Michael Cooney directed one of the Christmas movies that has the most sexual assault in it of any Christmas movie.
Shit. We haven't covered it.
No, we covered the sequel.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of any Christmas sexual assault movies.
Snowman sexual assault.
Oh, Jack Frost.
Yeah, it is Jack Frost. We need to cover the original because that is a whole other level of just wrong.
But we did do it.
We done the original, but we done it for YouTube back in the old days of YouTube.
Dude, man, you just stop fucking having platforms and shit, man. Let's just do the show.
To be honest, I try not to rope you into all the other stuff now because you get really confused.
You know I can't keep track. That's why.
Yeah, of what we covered and what we haven't. Like, I put a list together the other day. I've planned out 186 episodes for YouTube for the entire year.
I hope I'm not on any of them because every time you're like, oh, well, this week we're doing this. And I'm like, dude, we did it. I was like, dude, I swear we did it last year. And you're like, no, it was on YouTube, man. I was like, no, we still did it.
And your final one is Mr. Bob Clark, one of my favorite Christmas horror.
Bob Clark, yes. The winner of next week's poll, which is what's the winner of next week's poll? Black Christmas.
Anna and the Apocalypse is the winner of next week's poll.
It's not. It's Black Christmas.
It is Black Christmas. Well done. You done really well on that, to be fair.
I mean, thanks for the help. I appreciate
it. You're more than welcome. So, yeah, next week, me and Mark go head-to-head for the final time of the year. Whoever wins it wins the year. Like, it's that simple.
See, interestingly enough, I can say now on this episode, it's going to be Black Christmas or the wild card Scott's just thrown in the mix that I was unaware of, which is Anna and the Apocalypse. It's one of the two. This episode will already be polled by the time this episode comes out, so we will already know what it's going to be.
We will. And on the very last episode of the year, which is going to be the Black Phone 2, there will be a forfeit for the loser. I'm going to get on Patreon, patreon.com/YouRunPodcast, and we're going to bounce around some ideas for a forfeit. It won't be anything smelly. It won't be the super smelly straw, whatever it is, fish, because I'm not doing that in my studio and you're not doing it in there.
No, fuck that. No, I'm not airing this out in the middle of winter.
No, but there will be some sort of forfeit that will happen on that episode.
The thing is, as well, there's one movie that I really want to get on the podcast this year that I just feel like we've missed the opportunity now, which is a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night with the dude from Halloween Ends. I really, really want to watch that movie and I really want us to talk about it on the show. And I don't know whether...
When does it come out? Sling it in your poll. Kick out one of your other movies and sling it in there.
I don't know when it comes out. But it's a new release. So do we put it out as a poll between Black Phone 2 and this? Or are we tied to Black Phone 2? Do we owe that to somebody?
Well, Black Phone 2 won on Patreon, but I'd also polled Predator Bad. I'd also polled it on YouTube because not YouTube, but on Instagram because they were undecided. And Predator Badlands won. So then we repolled Predator Badlands and the Black Phone 2, and the Black Phone 2 absolutely smashed Predator Badlands.
I mean, I really want to talk about Black Phone 2. I do. Like, I really do. And it feels, I don't know if I haven't seen the movie, but given the trailer, it seems seasonal because it's snowy.
Awesome.
But
it's
I just feel like Silent Night, Deadly Night remake.
We will poll it. We will poll Silent Night, Deadly Night remake against the Black Phone 2, and we will do the Black Phone 2 at the end of the year. That's where
Yeah.
I think it is.
I
But
think so.
we'll give people the choice.
I just feel like the opportunity for us to talk about this movie is now. Like, once December's over, that movie's gone for us. I think. I don't think we're going to get the opportunity to do an episode about it because it's you do it at Christmas and that's it.
Christmas.
There is. This is true. It might be. It's just one of those. Like, I want to hit it early because if it's really good, then yeah, it might come up again next year. But the moment's passed by then. Like, I want to hit it in its stride, and it might be really bad. But again, I feel like we should talk about it if it's really bad. And it's the guy from Halloween Ends, so I'm like,
Corey Cunningham.
really, yeah, I'm really
Which is
conflicted.
good.
Whether it's like I want him to do well, but at the same time, he ruined my favorite franchise. So I'm like,
we can call him Corey for the whole movie. And go,
we will.
Do
You know that's going to happen.
you know what? He's so much better in this than he was in Halloween Ends. Like, if he was like this in Halloween Ends, can you imagine how good? Like, he's going to ruin your Christmas.
It is, and I think the people will like that.
I think they will as well. I'm going to let you round this up first because, as much as I've shit on this movie throughout, I think I'm going to have a much more positive outlook on this than you are.
And again, you say that, but I don't necessarily have an ultra negative outlook on this movie. Like, I really enjoyed the stop motion animation work that was on display. I love the voice acting. I think it's fantastic. And the songs that I did like and did really resonate with throughout this film were incredible. But again, the problem is like, for me, I found that A Nightmare Before Christmas, the stuff that I did like could have probably been condensed to 25 minutes worth of footage. The story itself wasn't gripping and engaging enough to justify the highlights of what I did enjoy within this movie. It's really, really bleak. And one of my biggest conflicts with it is that I just don't know where it lies. I just don't know where it sits. And I know you mentioned it being in between Halloween and Christmas. It just doesn't fall there for me. It's not a Halloween movie. It's certainly not a Christmas movie due to the dark tone of it and the unjolliness of it. I thought I was going to get there with what's this? Like, that was a tone that I was really on board with. I was like, this is going to be fucking brilliant. But then everything else after that just sort of subsided and became grim again. It's really dark when it crosses into the real world and unenjoyable to a certain extent because you feel yourself so heavily invested in Jack Skellington as a character. But by the time he reaches this pinnacle point of the story, you begin to dislike him as a character and you feel like the wasted investment you've spent so far is for nothing. I don't get the hype. I don't get the surgence in pop culture that this film has become. I don't understand why it is what it is and why it's so highly regarded amongst fans and amongst people within the horror community. I don't know whether it's something they've just attached to because they feel like they should because it's horror. And that's not to criticize anybody in particular who necessarily focuses their attention onto this movie as being a thing. It's just, for me, from a critical standpoint, I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. You know, I visually, I love it. Visually, I think it's an absolute masterclass of artistry. But as a movie and as a story, it's very underwhelming. As a musical, it's very underwhelming. And that was just my overall experience with it. And again, this was the first time watch for me, for clarity. I've not grown up with this movie. It's not been a pinnacle of my yearly watches. It's just something that I've now stumbled upon because I had to, in terms of points in overall show, me v Scott. So that's why I picked it. But then again, I feel like even if I hadn't picked it, Scott would have done, so we would have been doing it anyway.
There's 100%. Because when we do the polls, people don't know this. So I send you, like, this is the theme for the month. You pick your movies, and then I pick whatever is kind of left.
Yeah.
So when you picked it, I was like, oh, cross that off the list then. Can't use that this week.
Yeah, and in most of the cases, though, when we do that, it's like, I know Scott's going to pick this, or I know you're going to pick that, and it's like, depending on the tone or the theme of the month, I'll avoid movies that I know you'll probably want to have on your list. But this month, obviously, I took it because I needed the points. But I was like, I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get the love and appreciation that this movie gets. I can appreciate it from an artistry standpoint, but I just don't think it's that good, dude. I don't think the story is warranted of the appreciation that it gets from the masses. I'm really conflicted in my score because I love stop motion animation. I think this is probably at its finest, especially considering the era that it came out in. I think it's really, really beautiful in terms of what it represents and presents on screen, but I just don't think the writing's very strong in terms of its script. For me, I just feel like the characters and the end point that they get to is unjustifiable and unwarranted for the time spent viewing the movie. And it just didn't make me feel good. I didn't feel joy or happiness when I came away from this movie when the credits rolled. I just felt sad. I just felt really, really sad, and I felt like I needed a cuddle, and that was not good. So for me, I'm just going to give this a 2 out of 5, and that is purely based on the creativity behind it from a visual standpoint and the effort that went into it from the vocal actors that were on screen. Hey, I'm here. I'm a man of the people. I speak the truth, and all of you have heard this. Rise up against me. Let's go.
I have a huge amount of nostalgia attached to this movie, and that nostalgia has now become something that's been passed down to my children. Like Ocean adores this movie, like everything about. Like I watched it with her. We done the whole sing along. I'm sat there going, "This is Halloween. This is Halloween. What's this? What's this?" Like all the way through, I sung every single note with her. From a musical standpoint, I think this is a fabulous musical. I think it'll make a great stage show. Like I absolutely love it from a musical standpoint. Animation wise, I hate, like with a vehement passion, the amount of times I've said on this show, this movie was great till they fucking stop motion animated that, and now the whole movie's ruined because they've done it. This is perfect. It's so good. It looks so good. I love the character of Jack Skellington because he is a conflicted character, and he's also a bit of a narcissist, which I think anyone who lives in a creative space like you and me, whether we would openly admit it or not, there is a narcissistic element to what we do. Like we come on here every single week and portray ourselves as a great podcast. I've said it on this episode. We're the best.
You do.
but you've got to be successful. You've got to have that almost like, I am good at this. Fuck everybody else. I know what I'm doing is right. And I kind of identify with that element of Jack's character. Things that don't work for me is Sally doesn't work for me. I don't think she's a strong enough character to be like the leading lady of this. She's very much, I hate to say it, she's just a gold digging hoe who jumps from one guy to another. And I'm going to get shit for that. I know I am, but she is. I think other characters in this movie could have had bigger parts. I would have liked to have seen more of the vampires. I really like the werewolf dude. Like,
yeah, he's
really cool. He's really cool. He looks great as well. I like the drippy man. Like, I want to see the drippy man like in a relationship where like his girlfriend goes to give him a cuddle and she like ends up covered in gunk. Like, there's so many missed opportunities within the characters of Halloween Town. Yeah. I also want to see more in Christmas Land. There's so much more in Christmas Land they could have done. Also, all of the other doors that they could have explored. There is one that you see on screen for less than a second that no one ever mentions, but there is a door that's got fireworks on it. It's either a 4th of July or bonfire night. It's literally on second. Like, as they first go to that scene, you get just like that quick and it's gone before it goes to Thanksgiving door. But there's so many other elements they could have gone and explored there. And I would like to see some sort of
fucking hell, killing Native Americans. That would have been entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not, you're not going in there for a snack, are you? It's not good. It's not good. That's the British slaying Native Americans. It's do not open that door. Like you've got that door. You've got the Christmas door, which is fun. You've got the St. Patrick's Day door, which is fun. You've got the Valentine's Day door, which is an orgy. What else have you got in there? I think you got the Easter door, which is just like
a bunny.
a bunny and chocolates.
That lays
Again,
eggs, apparently.
it does. I really like the story of this. I think there's elements that move too slowly. I think there's elements that should have moved slower than they did. I think there's a lot of bits that they kind of dragged out certain segments and sped up others, and I would have paced this film differently. But I love this film. I have such a good time with it. I've honestly, in the last 18 months, I've probably watched this film 40 times. Like,
Get a life, man.
Ocean, purely for the fact that Ocean will have this on. If Ocean's at home, she'll come in, she'll sit down, she'll like start doing her homework or whatever, and she'll put on The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I'll watch it. And then she'll follow it with Gremlins, and then she'll follow it with something else. And it's always like this kind of macabre world that I live in, and it's a real connection that I'm making with my daughter, and it's all come through this movie. It's not a perfect movie. As much as I'd love to sit here and give it a 5 out of 5, I can't, because I don't feel that strongly attached to it. But I definitely love it. This gets a 4.5 out of 5 from me.
Don't bite your own claps. That's not cool, man.
That was genuine. That was the audience. You could hear them.
I'm sure it was. I mean, the thing is, for me as well, like you mentioned, like this connection you have with Ocean, with watching these types of movies, and one of the things you mentioned within that was Gremlins.
Oh.
I can't wait for the point where my daughter just fucking stops being a drip. You know what I mean? In terms of her sensitivity to movies, like, I want to show her Jurassic Park, but I know she won't sleep for a week. I want to show her Gremlins, and to the point where she finally reaches that age where me and her sit down and watch Jurassic Park and we watch Gremlins, it's going to be the best weekend of my life, and I know it. To see her face light up as she experiences what I experienced as a child is going to be one of the most entertaining things for me. It'll be better than my wedding. I don't care if my wife's listening. It will be. And I'm ready for that, you know, but I just feel like maybe had I had that experience like you do with this movie where I can showcase this to her and see her level of enjoyment from it, and I could live through her vicariously with that, I might enjoy this movie a little bit more. But as an adult and taking in the story on a baseline concept, it's just not very good in my opinion.
No, and that's fine. Like, everyone gets different things from movies, and it is a movie perspective is very much who you watch it with and what you get from them as well. Like, you and me have reviewed some fucking dreadful movies, and because we've watched them at the same time and we're messaging each other and we're having a laugh about it, that movie has instantly become more enjoyable. Like, you're messaging me going, "What the fuck did he just do?" I'm like, "That's so funny," and like that experience colors how you look at a movie.
Definitely. And again, it's everything's perspective, you know that it's all how you perceive something. You know, what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. I'm not here to criticize anybody's opinion on this movie. If you love it, you love it, and rightly so, and you should embrace it. But for me, I didn't get it.
Yeah, and I get that. And like, I had a really cool moment probably about 6 months ago. Jack started watching Star Wars, so we done episode 4, 5, and 6. I wish I'd had a video camera out, like had my phone out and record Jack. The moment when Darth Vader revealed, "I am your father," I just watched his entire world fucking crumble, the same as it did for me when I watched it. Like, he was like jaw on the floor. It looked to me like, and I'm like, "I know." And he's like, and like that, then coupled with we've done Return of the Jedi, and like Leia's revealed as his sister, he was like, "Oh!" Like, that for me was so enjoyable. The next one he's decided he wants to do is the Indiana Jones. So
make him watch The Matrix, mate.
It's on the list. That is it for this week. Next week, we're going to be back with a movie we've spoken about tonight. We are going to revisit Gremlins.
Yes.
I reviewed Gremlins in the very first season of this show. Lisa guest starred on that episode, and Lisa hated Gremlins. Honestly, it was nearly like that was nearly the end of us. We sat and watched it together. Don't tell me what you're thinking. come on the show, and I'm like, this is great and that is great. Shit, no, it's crap.
Yeah, you're not going to get that from me next week. I fucking love this movie.
I do. We're going to talk about Gremlins, so tune in for that. That's next Monday. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for all of the support you're showing on all of the socials, especially TikTok. We're monetized. I'm making money on TikTok. Woo!
See, this is a moment you use your clapping soundbite.
Oh, right. Hold on. I'm making money on TikTok. Woo!
There we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much for your support. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus.
It's Christmas time, it's the time to be afraid. It's Christmas time, it's time to talk about being named. And on this podcast of horror, we'll spread a little fear. Watch a horror movie now and grab a beer. And then Scott mentions the actress's boobs, followed by Mark saying, come on, dude. This is the place to have fun and say a curse or two. You run podcast horror movie review. Watch a horror, do it now, it's Christmas time. Watch a horror, do it now, it's Christmas time. Watch a horror, then listen to a great fun review. Podcast Christmas. Woo! Do it now, it's Christmas time. Do it now, it's Christmas time. Watch a horror, then listen to a great fun review. Podcast Christmas. To run Podcast Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.